You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 17th of December. PM Modi becomes first world leader to receive Ethiopia's top honor. Pakistan Army Chief faces defining test over Trump's Gaza plan. And UN agency flags rising child deaths in Afghanistan as funding falls short. And now for all the details. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been conferred Ethiopia's highest civilian honor, becoming the first world leader to receive the prestigious award. The recognition comes as India and Ethiopia have elevated ties to a strategic partnership.
In a landmark recognition of India's growing global stature, Ethiopia conferred its highest civilian award, the Great Honor Nishon of Ethiopia, on Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday, making him the first global head of state or government to receive this distinction. This is the 28th international honor bestowed upon the Indian Prime Minister. Accepting the award, PM Modi called it a matter of great pride to be honored by one of the world's most ancient civilizations and dedicated it to the people of India. He expressed gratitude to Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, recalling their recent meeting at the G20 summit, which led to the visit within just 24 days.
मैं सभी भारतवासियों की ओर से इस सम्मान को पूरी विनम्रता और कृतज्ञता से ग्रहण करता हूं। यह सम्मान उन अनगिनत भारतीयों का है जिन्होंने हमारी साझेदारी को आकार दिया।
On Wednesday, PM Modi laid a wreath at the Adwa Victory Monument in Addis Ababa and later addressed a joint session of the Ethiopian parliament. Speaking on the aspirations of the Global South, he said the Global South is shaping its own destiny, and that India and Ethiopia share a vision of a world where the Global South rises not against anyone, but for everyone. During the visit, India and Ethiopia elevated their long-standing ties to a strategic partnership. The two sides signed 8 agreements, including on customs cooperation, setting up a data center at Ethiopia's foreign ministry, UN peacekeeping training and debt restructuring under the G20 framework. Prime Minister Modi later in the day departed for Oman, the final leg of his 3-nation tour, where high-level engagements and key agreements are expected.
Chief Minister of India's northeastern Assam state, Himanta Biswa Sarma, on Tuesday issued a strong warning against what he described as repeated threats from Bangladesh to undermine India's territorial integrity. Sarma's remarks came amid growing diplomatic unease following statements by Hasnat Abdullah, a youth leader of National Citizen Party of Bangladesh, suggesting the merger or separation of India's northeast region. Calling such comments a reflection of a bad mindset, the Assam Chief Minister said it was wrong to even imagine redrawing India's borders. Tensions had already been building earlier this year after Bangladesh's interim government head, Chief Advisor Mohammad Yunus, referred to India's 7 northeastern states as landlocked. The remarks drew sharp reactions from Indian political leaders, particularly in the northeast.
बांग्लादेश में थोड़ा लास्ट 1 सालों से यह चर्चा बार बार हो रहा है कि नॉर्थ ईस्ट को भारत से अलग करके बांग्लादेश का साथ शामिल करने का बात बार बार आ रहा है। लेकिन भारत आप जानते हैं, भारत एक बहुत बड़ा देश है, न्यूक्लियर नेशन है, 4th लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी इन द वर्ल्ड। सो भारत को बांग्लादेश कैसे ये कर पाएगा, ये तो सोचना भी गलत है। लेकिन बांग्लादेश का लोगों का सोच खराब है, हम लोग उनको बहुत ज़्यादा मदद करना नहीं चाहिए और ये लोगों को भी ये सिखा देना चाहिए कि भारत का ऊपर ऐसा सब व्यवहार करने से हम लोग चुप नहीं रहेंगे।
Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir is expected to fly to Washington to meet President Donald Trump in the coming weeks for a third meeting in 6 months. The meet will likely focus on Gaza force, the sources have told Reuters. Trump's 20-point Gaza plan calls for a force from Muslim nations to oversee a transition period for reconstruction and economic recovery in Palestinian territory reduced to rubble by 2 years of Israeli military bombardment. Munir had built a close relationship with Trump to mend ties between Washington and Islamabad. In June, he was invited for a White House lunch, the first time a US president hosted Pakistan's Army Chief alone without civilian officials. Munir was earlier this month promoted and appointed as Chief of the Defense Forces to head the Air Force and Navy as well. Pakistan, the world's only Muslim country with nuclear weapons, has a military having gone to war with India 3 times. It has also tackled insurgencies and it is currently embroiled in a war with Islamist militants who it says are operating from Afghanistan.
If the Pakistanis decline to be a part of this mission, then that might disappoint Trump, and that could be a problem for Pakistan, given that it's very clear that that Asim Munir, not just Asim Munir, but I'd say the civilian and military leadership on the whole, are very keen for the U.S. to invest in Pakistan and to provide security assistance, which has largely been suspended for some time. And I think that if Pakistan declines to participate in the stabilization mission, that could disappoint Trump, and he may not. There is that risk that it could prompt him to pull back a bit and not be as inclined to work with Pakistan on some of these issues that have been discussed in recent diplomatic engagements.
The United Nations World Food Programme has warned that millions of Afghans, particularly children, face worsening hunger and malnutrition this winter. World Food Programme struggles with severe funding shortages, limiting its ability to deliver life-saving assistance. In a statement released Tuesday, the World Food Programme said it is unable for the first time in decades. The WFP said it requires more than $460 million to provide food assistance to 6 million of the most vulnerable people nationwide. The agency estimates that around 17 million Afghans are currently facing hunger, an increase of nearly 3 million compared to last year. The mass return of Afghans deported from neighboring Iran and Pakistan has further worsened the crisis. The agency cited a sharp decline in international aid since 2021 when US-led forces withdrew and the Taliban returned to power. Natural disasters such as earthquakes have further deepened the crisis. Humanitarian organizations continue to warn that without urgent financial support, Afghanistan's already fragile food security situation could deteriorate, placing millions of lives at risk during the harsh winter ahead.
Soaring malnutrition is now placing the lives of millions of children at risk. We've seen dramatic aid cuts and cuts to food assistance, and the poorest Afghans are now asking themselves, how are we going to make it through the winter? Forced returns of Afghans from neighboring countries, widespread drought, and a dramatic decline in food assistance across the country have created a devastating hunger crisis now affecting 17 million people.
Moving on, voting to elect new leadership of Nepal CPN-UML was held on Wednesday at the party's 11th General Convention in Kathmandu. The polling processes start in the morning after repeated postponements since Monday due to technical glitches in electronic voting machines. The election is seen as a key test for party chair and former Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, who is seeking a third term and faces a challenge from senior leader Ishwar Pokhrel. The contest for General Secretary is also keen, with Shankar Pokhrel pitted against Surendra Pandey. Electronic voting machines were being used for the election with 2,263 delegates eligible to vote, and the polling was still underway till the last reports came in. UML leaders expect a mixed outcome amid internal dissent and shifting loyalties within the party, especially after the Gen Z protests in September, which led to the ouster of Oli from Prime Minister's post. The protests were sparked by frustrations over corruption and government mismanagement and culminated in the dissolution of parliament under Oli's leadership. Moving on, the newest high-altitude attractions ski resort town of Gulmarg in India's Jammu and Kashmir are drawing crowds of tourists and winter sports enthusiasts. At nearly 14,000 feet, the world's highest revolving restaurant at the Upper Wat Peak has become a major visual and experiential highlight, offering visitors sweeping 360-degree views of snow-covered Himalayan peaks while they enjoy the warm Kashmiri refreshments. Alongside it, Asia's longest ski drag lift is transforming the skiing experience with smoother and longer ascents. The new infrastructure is part of Jammu and Kashmir's broader push to elevate Gulmarg as a global winter destination. With upgraded facilities, adventure training centers and renewed tourist interest, Gulmarg continues to strengthen its reputation as a premier hub for alpine tourism and winter sports.
A great experience. आपको बहुत अच्छा experience होता है in this restaurant because you get to see beautiful views from this peak. Gondola view है, mountain view है, restaurant में there's obviously people find it very difficult to survive here, and obviously when they come with kids and family, they look for some good nice experiences. So this is an added experience.
यहाँ पे snow है तो ये difference है, बहुत ठंड भी है तो वो there is a lot of difference between other restaurants, but this is the first, the highest, so obviously.
तो इस तरह के इनिशिएटिव्स होने चाहिए फॉर प्रमोशन ऑफ टूरिज्म.
यस, हम लोग बर्मा से आए हैं तो ऐसा ज़्यादा अट्रैक्शन होएगा तो हम लोग वापस आएंगे.
That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.